This video is going to explain the different user roles within Axon and how they interact with Axon and how that links up to the license model. There are three different types of profile that can be created in Axon. There are web users, admins, and super admins. 95% of your users are going to be web users rather than administrators, but there are different categories within those which I'm going to explain. First up, you can have your non-logged in users. So even before logging in, any user will be able to browse any content that's been set to public. So they won't be able to click into private objects because they don't have the correct permissions, but they will be able to see the public objects. There will also be viewer-only users. This is the next step up in that they will be logged in, so they'll be named, and once they've logged in, they then earn the right to be able to raise change requests. So the idea is that you want to have these people collaborating on improving the data within Axon and making the metadata the best available. Now these are still free, the idea again being to drive collaboration forward. So they can view the assets in Axon, they can raise change requests, they can participate in workflows and comment and initiate those, but they're not going to actually be chargeable because they're not directly editing or creating new content within Axon. The third type of web user are the editor users, and this is when they become licensable. So once somebody has an editor role, then they will be counted in the license model. Now the way they become an editor user is if somebody takes on a stakeholder role in Axon, which comes with an attached permission to create or to edit something. So for instance, if I was a project manager and somebody assigned me as the project manager of, say, a FATCA project, then if this role came with create permissions, I would then be able to create additional projects. And if it came with edit permissions, I would be able to edit that project directly. Because of those permissions, I've become an editor user and I'm now licensable. Administrators are a step beyond that. You're only going to have a handful of administrators, definitely not going to be your majority group. These people are able to do all of the editing of any objects that they want without having to accrue those permissions via their stakeholder roles. So the editor users have had to build those up by the different stakeholder roles they own, which come with permissions. Administrators, however, have the automatic right to create, edit anything they like in Axon. They can also manage locks across items. So there's a function whereby any item that is being edited by someone is automatically locked so that nobody else can edit it at the same time. An administrator has the power to remove that. Super administrators can go even a step beyond that. So as well as being able to edit everything in Axon and manage those locks, they can also actually start to configure the application. They can create the roles and set the role permissions that we have been talking about in relation to the editor users. So they can decide that a project manager gets to create and edit projects, for instance, but that a project member can only view projects. Now, the view permission allows any owner of it to view something even if it's private, but it doesn't make them an editor user, so they would still just be a free access web user. And that decision and implementation could be set by the super administrator. They can also create default workflows, which is a powerful thing. You can create a workflow for an entire facet, so it would be a workflow that would be reused again and again. For instance, the semantic changes to a glossary term going through an approval process could be set up as a default workflow on glossary, and then it could be used across multiple different glossary terms as required. So that again would be a super admin role. Editor users and admins would be able to create custom workflows only. So on a specific object, they could set up a specific workflow, but not one that goes across the entire facet. Also, super administrators are going to have the power to change drop-down values. So there's a lot of config you can do within Axon itself to make it resonate with the audience you're looking to connect with. So you can change drop-downs, you can change stakeholder roles, as I mentioned, to use the language of your organization so that it's familiar. And that's, again, a super admin role. There are also some more technical pieces which super admins have access to, And so again, this is going to be the most limited type of profile, and you're probably only going to have one or two within your organization.